What's good, guys? Welcome to another episode of Learn from the Pros. I'm here with my guy, Lynn Greer. Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you having me.
Temple, second all-time leading scorer and Euroleague top scorer in 2004. So big-time guy right here, big-time guest. So played 4 years at Temple, went to the NCAA tournament how many times?
4 years.
4 years, all 4 years. And then went overseas, your first year, right?
Yep, first year.
Where did you go your first year? To Greece?
I played in Greece. I played for a small team called Near East. We were, bottom of the first division, but, I didn't know what I was getting into. But nonetheless, it was a great opportunity.
How was that transition coming from the U.S. and straight out of college, going overseas to a foreign country?
Man, it was tough. It was tough because all I had known was playing here in the States, high school, college, friends, family. Now I'm going to a foreign country where I don't know the language, I don't know anyone there, and it was tough. Just trying to adjust to the life, the language, and being away from family.
How would you say the culture compares to in the U.S. in Greece your first year?
In my eyes or in reality?
No, in your eyes. In your eyes, all your perspective.
In my eyes, I was 22, so I was young, and I wasn't willing to adapt to the culture. I was stuck in my American ways.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say over the course of your 10+ year career overseas was your most challenging aspect of cultural differences? Like maybe a moment that sticks out or something?
Well, it honestly was the beginning. My first, I would say, 2 years when I played in Greece, and then after that I played in Poland. I wasn't willing to try to learn the language. I wasn't willing to learn the foods. I wasn't willing to try to, have Greek salads and Slovakis and things like that that I now know. But at that time, I wanted chicken fingers and fries. You got barbecue sauce. That's all I was asking for.
For sure. And then you've brought it up a couple times already, but the language barrier, how hard was that? Like I know in certain countries it's harder than others, but like, did you learn any tips and tricks how to communicate with people even though you don't speak the same language?
I did. I actually learned the languages through basketball. I'm a big visual learner. So, when I played in Italy and I played in Greece and I'm hearing the terms being used in a basketball sense, turn, straight, go back. Like I learned when I'm in a taxi to do this, use the same words.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. And how would you say the style of play compares? Like it's kind of hard to say Europe overall compared to the U.S. because obviously you play with the Bucks as well. Like how would you say college compared to, let's say, broad overseas compared to in the NBA? How these styles compared at the time that you played?
I think each one was a major adjustment, right? College, coming in as a 17-year-old to play college basketball was a major adjustment with strength and athleticism and things like that. But then going to Europe, it kind of worked in my favor because I've always been a scorer.
Right.
So when you play with shooters, like in Europe, and I'm like, oh man, I only got one guy guard me. Like it was like heaven,
And in what way would you say that playing overseas, maybe like not necessarily the basketball part, but living overseas for so long, has contributed to your personal growth as a person? Like, is there anything that made you develop as a person?
Yes. So just going back to the previous question about the biggest challenge was me not adapting to the culture. I would say about 4 years in, what I learned was I need to engage with my teammates who were from that country, right? So, a lot of times, and I didn't understand this then, but now, like in practice, when it would be 9 local players shooting down here, 2 Americans shooting down here, so I'm like, damn, this is weird.
Right.
And so I started going down there to shoot with them, and then I started engaging with them at the dinner table. And so now I start to understand their culture, become friends with those guys, and then now in my really adult life, retired life, I'm able to go in any room and interact with whoever it may be.
So more like social skills overall, you'd say?
Big time social skills,
okay.
Yeah.
And what skills or lessons, maybe you just answered that question, I don't know. What skills or lessons do you think every professional athlete that, not necessarily basketball player, but every professional athlete should learn, should know?
Well, I think the biggest thing any sport, particularly basketball, is there's no blueprint to success, right? Is nothing saying that if you do the same thing that I did, that it's going to work for you in the way that it worked for me. So it's like you got to follow your heart, work as hard as you can, and really just give it your all. At the end of the day, if you give your all, can't look back and be upset at anything.
Right. And then I guess the most important question, at least to me, is the stuff that I wanted to know when I was younger. Seeing all these professional athletes over in Europe. If you were able to go back in time and speak to your younger self, let's say you're freshly out of college, 22, 23-year-old self, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
I would have really taken advantage of where I was, right? I was living in Greece. I was living in Naples and all these different places. I would have done a better job of learning these languages. I would have taken more pictures. I would have been more in the moment, right? Because I can tell you a story about being somewhere, but to be in the moment. Now I'm old, so we didn't have these kind of phones. We didn't have these kind of. Said the other day. We didn't have these kind of phones, but this is like when Nokias were first coming out. But we would have had, cameras to take pictures and things like that. And I think I would have taken advantage more of that, and been more open as a human being to the culture.
I mean, not to sound like an old head or whatever. I'm 23 years old, but I feel like in life and definitely in sports, as I'm just beginning my career, we're always looking forward to like the next moment. Like even if you make it to where you want to be, you want the next contract, the next. Do you feel like there's any maybe little tricks to be able to live in the moment or just to enjoy the moment? Because we always want more and more and more. How can we appreciate where we are in the moment more?
I think it's natural for anybody to look forward to something, right? So you're looking forward to it, but in life and business, everything, you look forward to the end goal, but then you like, all right, how do I get to the end goal?
Right.
And so one thing that I really used to do is when I went to these countries, I would try to, for lack of better terms, kill my teammates to gain the respect from them, because that transition to in the games, they have faith in me. They seen what I can do in practice, and then it transitions to the games, transitions to success.
That makes sense. And then what would you say over the course of your career is the best piece of advice you've received from somebody else? It can be early on or later. It doesn't necessarily have to be basketball related, just a piece of advice on whatever aspect you can think of.
The best piece of advice I got was from an assistant coach when I played for the Milwaukee Bucks. His name was Lester Connor. Played in the league. He was an old head to me at the time, but I was playing for the Bucks. I was practicing hard, competing against the guys who were playing, but I wasn't getting any time in the games. Sometimes I wasn't even suiting up, and every time we would get on the bus to go to the games, he would be like, "Lefty, just stay on the bus. Lefty. That's all you gotta do is stay on the bus." And it means more than just stay on the bus. It means just keep showing up every day. The longer you keep getting on that bus to go to these games, good things happen. And, before you know it, a year, 2 years go by, and you're, so it means in a broader sense just to continue doing what you're doing, continue working hard and keep showing up.
For sure. And then to wrap this up, what would you, I know it's hard because, there's all these peaks and valleys in a professional basketball career or in anything. But if you would have to pick one defining moment, what would you say is the biggest or most memorable moment of your professional basketball career?
I got a lot of them, but
that's a good thing.
If we're talking about professional, I think it was a decision that was made and then also the outcome, right? So I played in Greece my first year, played pretty decent, team wasn't that good. I went to vet camp with the Bucks and got cut. So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back overseas. I had 2 contracts. I had one for almost double what the other one was. I'm 23, I'm taking the double, right? My agent, Leon Rose, he said, take this one. And I'm like, what? No way. And he said, listen, the lesser one was the Euroleague team. The higher one was another Greek team. Right. And I'm like, I had no idea what Euroleague was. And so followed his advice, took the lesser contract, ended up playing for team in Poland, Śląsk, and we that's where my name from Euroleague and ever since came from, because I was in NBA shape leaving the Bucks training camp and then going to a Euroleague team and really just change the trajectory of my professional career.
So also a really good piece of advice from somebody who knows the business, basically.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you for coming on.
Anytime, man.
And thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode, and see y'all in the next video.